Hey everyone, welcome back to Open by Accident. This is Matt, and today I'm going to share with you some of my holiday pickups, as well as some things I purchased around the holiday season. Let's jump right into it. Alright, getting right into it. This first series of games are games that I purchased from Video Games Plus out of Canada. I made the purchase back December 2nd, but didn't get these games until after Christmas. Their delivery holiday schedule was way behind, but they had a good deal. They had games on sale. A lot of them were around like 25% off normal retail prices, and it was a good time to go ahead and fill out the Evercade collection because they just announced that prices are going up. I mean, the games that were 20 bucks are going to be 25, and the games that were 25 are now going to be 30 retail. So it was a good time to go ahead and fill out the collection. I'm still missing 3 games after these 4 pickups. So eventually I'll find them. One of them being like the Sunsoft collection, and then just a couple other fillers like Full Void, and then there's another like dual cart that I never did pick up. But the first one that I picked up on the sale was Home Computer Heroes Collection 1. This is the Home Computer Collection number 5. I haven't gotten into it yet, but it's basically a bunch of homebrew games that are made for like the Commodore 64 and such. I'm really excited to check this out. It was a pretty decent pickup there. The next one is a dual cart. It's number 35 in the red label. Got Good Boy Galaxy and Witch and Whiz. This one I'm excited about because it's got Witch and Whiz, which is a puzzler. So I love puzzle games. So the last one I got here, because I don't have the 4th game with me, I actually loaned it to our friend Jeff. He's got it's the Soul Reaver collection, a dual cart. It's one of those Giga cartridges that retails for a little bit more than the others, but he's using that in his Evercade right now. But the last one I got was the Bitmap Brothers collection 2. This is another home computer collection. This is collection number 8. So after adding those 4 games, that leaves me down to just needing 3 carts to finish out the entire run until the new carts that have just been announced for February. So I'm excited about those coming out, as well as trying to find those 3 that I need. So moving right along, we've got the stuff that I got for Christmas. These were gifts from my wife under the Christmas tree, and some I didn't expect, and some I kind of knew was coming. So the first one is a new Xbox headset. So I had been using the wired headset that is from Microsoft for the Xbox, and while it works really good, you don't have to worry about charging it. It's always ready to go because it's wired. The problem is that it doesn't like to sync up the volume just right when you first start up. So like literally I'd have to like scream into the headset to get my friends to hear me, and then eventually the levels would kind of come up and then it'd work fine. So my wife knew I was going through that trouble, and she decided to get me the new redesigned wireless Xbox headset. So this one so far works really good. It sounds nice. It's synced up really easy. Haven't had any hiccups yet so far, and of course my friends can hear me when I'm talking right away. So pretty excited to add that to my Xbox. The next 2 games are for the PlayStation 5. I've been getting more into the PlayStation 5 since I got it over the summer, and adding these 2 is really cool. This one was kind of a surprise. I've got the Bitmap Bureau collection. So on this collection you've got 3 games. You've got Xenocrisis, Battle Axe, and Final Vendetta. I haven't put any time into Battle Axe yet, but Xenocrisis is phenomenal. I've played it on numerous different systems. I've got it on the Nintendo 64, I've got it on my Evercade, and I played it on Xbox when it was on Game Pass. So having it on the PS5 was a nice addition. Plus it's a multiplayer game, so it's a lot of fun. I've played through it already since I got it on the Bitmap Bureau collection, as well as Final Vendetta, which is a beat 'em up like in vein of Final Fight or Streets of Rage. It's a really good beat 'em up. Both these games are really difficult, so you have to kind of lower down the difficulty to, go play through the games, but they're both a lot of fun. Battle Axe I'll get to eventually, it just wasn't on my radar, but those other 2 games absolutely love. This next game for PS5, I've never played survival horror games before last year, and that was limited to just the Resident Evil games. I never really got into the genre, so getting Silent Hill 2 was a really nice welcome surprise. This game is phenomenal. I've put probably about 11 hours into the campaign so far, going through it totally blind without any kind of walkthrough or help from the internet. I'm just learning as I go, and the game is so much fun. I get my jump scares. The gameplay is spot on. Absolutely love this game. I'll probably play through it again because there's like an extra mode that you can play through after you beat the game. So Silent Hill 2 is a must if you're into the survival horror genre, or if you have a PS5, because right now it's exclusive. I think it was originally going to be a timed exclusive. So adding these two games to my PS5 collection have been a really nice addition, because I've gotten a lot of game time with them since Christmas. So those were my Christmas gifts from my wife. And then the day after Christmas we went out because there's sales, and they wanted to pick up like Christmas ornaments or wrapping paper for next year. Well, me and my son stopped by a GameStop, and we happened to find Never Dead on the Xbox 360. This is a game that's been on my radar for a long time, but I've just never found it at the right price. They had it for $24.99, and then if you're a pro member like I am, you get a little bit of a discount, so it came to $23.74. We had like $1 on a gift certificate, so we cashed that in. So it ended up costing about $23 for Never Dead, and it is complete with the booklets, and the disc looks great. And it usually goes for a little bit more than that, maybe like that $30-$35 range. So finding it for under 25 bucks, that was a bargain. I'm really excited that I found Never Dead on the Xbox 360 right around Christmas. So this last series of items that I have to share with you guys, this was kind of a last minute impulse purchase, but it's also been something that's been on my radar for a very, very long time. Probably since back in 2018, around the time it was originally announced. I did try pre-ordering it. Their pre-order system went down. They weren't able to fulfill all of the orders, and then by the time I was able to get into the system after they had got it back up and running, I was like in batch like 3 or 4, so it was like literally going to be like a year and a half, 2 years out, and I'm just like, I just don't feel comfortable giving a new company my money without having a product in my hands for well over a year. Well, it turns out it took everybody multiple years to get their product in their hand. They've come through. Unfortunately, Polymega, the parent company of the Polymega, which I'm going to share with you, is still working on, getting everything perfected. But yeah, I picked up a Polymega over winter break. I happened across it. It was a pre-owned system, and so far it's been a little shaky. The system does work fine when it wants to. It seems like I have issues with it booting up every time. It takes a few tries sometimes, and then sometimes it creates other issues trying to boot up multiple times. So it's a great system when it wants to be. So far I'm really enjoying the Polymega when I do get it working. I want to emphasize that, when I get it working. But ultimately what I purchased was the Polymega base unit, and what that comes with is the CD drive, the cover, your cables like your power, HDMI, and then it comes with a their like main controller. And this controller works really good. It's just like a generic controller. It might even be like the GameSir controllers that you see packaged in with like emulation systems, because it feels and looks identical. But the game controller works really well. It's like a PlayStation style controller. So you got the base unit, and that plays all your CD games. So you're talking Sega CD, Mega CD, PlayStation, Neo Geo CD, TurboGrafx CD games, Sega Saturn. All those games play with the base unit right out of the box. But the cool thing about the Polymega is it has modules, and you plug these modules into the top of the system, and it allows you to add cartridge-based games to the system, as well as extra controllers to play with. So the first module I got with this bundle is the Super module, which plays Super Nintendo and Super Famicom, and even the European stuff. The great thing about Polymega is it's region free. So like, you have the ability to add like an SSD or even like a micro SD card to the Polymega base unit, so you can actually put patches in and get import games like from Japan, and then get like English translations. And there were already a few games already on the system with that already done, so it's kind of cool that I'm able to explore and experience games that I never could before because I don't speak Japanese. The next module we got is the Mega module, which is the Sega Genesis. And a really cool thing about this one is it actually supports 32X as well as, you know, all of the imports and Sega Genesis. So of the bundle of controllers that come packaged in with these modules, you get like the module that plugs in that'll accept your cartridge, but it also comes with its own unique controller. The controllers are really great in my opinion, with exception of the Mega module. The Sega Genesis one just feels weird. That back of it, it just is a weird shape and it doesn't really feel great in my hands. And the buttons are like overly clicky, like not in a good way clicky. I like clicky buttons like the Neo Geo CD controllers, but this one just doesn't seem to do it for me. Another module that came bundled with it, which I've gotten probably the most use out of, is the Power module. So this is like your original Nintendo. This controller is awesome. I love the controller packaged in with this. It will support Japanese Famicom games, but you have to have an adapter to do so because it requires 60 pins versus 72 pins, which is what this connector is. And the last module that came with it, which worked out perfectly because there's one other module that I don't have, and we'll talk about that in a minute, is the Ultra module. And this is your Nintendo 64 module. This controller is awesome that's packed in with it. And the cool thing about the Ultra module is it actually has 4 control ports on the front of it, so you can have 4-player games with 4 N64 controllers. You know, that's another thing to mention with these extra modules, is you can also use like your original controllers from your original systems, like your 6-button Sega Genesis controller or your old trusty Nintendo 64 controller, because it's the same ports as the original systems, and it's absolutely fantastic. I'm really enjoying the Polymega, and I'm excited to get more things that are coming out or that I just haven't gotten around to, like some extra controllers. There is one module out there that I haven't gotten yet because it wasn't bundled in with it, but I don't have any games for it, but I've heard that the controller is amazing, and that's the TurboGrafx module, because it's a 6-button, kind of like a PC Avenue controller that's bundled in with it, and I've read reviews and watched videos where it sounds like it's amazing in the hand, but I can't justify spending like $80 on a module that I only going to use for controllers because I don't have any TurboGrafx 16 games in my collection. You know, speaking of games in the collection, I've been able to add, like I said, Sega Genesis games. I told you about imports. You know, got Destruction Derby on the Japanese Sega Saturn here. It'll pop it in and play it just fine. You know, I can add original PlayStation games to it. Super Nintendo games, 32X, original Nintendo, and even Sega CD. And the great thing is you put it in the system, you put it on a hard drive in the system, like I have a 1 terabyte SSD installed in it. I installed it to that. I don't ever have to get these cartridges out again. I can tuck them away on the shelf, use them for display purposes. You know, my games are backed up. My copies, my ROMs of my personal collection are backed up on the system, which is absolutely fantastic. The problem is it's done through emulation. It was originally announced that it was going to be FPGA, but it turns out that they went the route of emulation. It works pretty good for the most part. There are some issues. Some games don't work. You know, they're still sorting out issues with firmware updates. But I have confidence that they're going to make this system more than what it is right now, and there's plans to already. They've already announced, or kind of softly announced, that there's going to be an Atari module that'll play 2600 and 7800 games. There's light gun support coming, and then they've started introducing their own collection of games. There's a Karate Champ and an Asteroids collection out there and available. It's just a matter of I spent a lot of money on this, and I'm trying to kind of recover from that purchase so I can then add to the Polymega collection. I was really excited to make this purchase. You know, I'm excited that I can back up my own ROMs and have them all in one place. And then, of course, you know, it works on an HDMI monitor, so I'm able to easily play games on modern TVs with this, and then capture footage from my collection to share with you guys. So yeah, the Polymega, it was a pretty exciting purchase. A little nerve-wracking because of the issues I've had with it. But I think once that gets sorted out, it's going to become probably one of my favorite and most played systems. So what did you guys think of my pickups, from Christmas, or just me making impulse purchases, around Christmas time that I probably shouldn't have? What did you get for Christmas? Leave that in the comments below. I appreciate everybody taking the time to check out the channel, and make sure you stick around for more content to come. Thanks so much.